woke ads. All right, guys. A lot of companies do this, exclusively for the purpose of virtue signaling, so they can kind of galvanize, let's say, a small niche group in the country, let's say, so they can kind of corner the market on that group, let's say. So they say, you know what? Listen, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it with that company because that company supports our niche lifestyle, most likely. Now, guys, I haven't seen the ad at all. I'm just reading the title here, but failing to read the room. So I'm guessing it's something absolutely wild. We're gonna see. We're gonna see, guys. I'm generally not a super biased human, so let's do it. Let's check it out. Google sparks outrage with woke Christmas ad. Okay, failing to read the room. Okay, this is a suggestion via Discord, guys. All right, let's do it.
I think we're going to have a tremendous run. When we left, we didn't have any of these problems. We didn't have Russia with Ukraine. We didn't have Israel October 7th. We didn't have the Afghanistan disaster. We didn't have inflation. We had no inflation. And we had a very strong economy.
And we had inflation, but it wasn't at the same level as it is today. We always have inflation.
We're going to do that again, but I think we're going to even up it because now we have experience that we didn't have.
President-elect Trump rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange this morning, his first time ever doing that. He has been named one other time to Time Magazine's Person of the Year. So that's this year, too. And, of course, now half the day is gone. So 39 and a half days until Trump is back in the Oval Office, and new polling shows people are feeling optimistic. A Fox survey finds 54% of voters say they are hopeful post-election. Another national poll shows 55% of Americans approve of the way that Trump is handling the presidential transition. A new op-ed sums it up this way. National mood shift since Trump's win is reviving America's lost vigor. Trump's incoming press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, with this.
There's a real palpable spirit out there. People feel more optimistic because they know we're going to have a real leader again who's going to make this country safe and strong and wealthy.
A recent New York Times piece focused on 14 people who voted for Trump despite having some misgivings in the lead up to the election. Here's a quote. The idea of America moving on from politics and actually being more united than it seems to be was a core idea for many in the group. They said they were tired of being criticized for holding conservative or contrary opinions and thought a lot of other Americans were too. Alexa Henning, former Trump advisor and former communications director for Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Morgan Harper, former Ohio Democratic Senate candidate. Great to have you first, or both.
Thank you.
Morgan, I'm going to come to you first. Welcome to the program. What do you make
That was also a very good lead-in, guys.
of this optimism? I mean, yours was the party of joy, and now people have it.
Well, I think it's pretty normal after a presidential election that went a positive way for a certain candidate for people to be enthusiastic towards that candidate. I think what remains to be seen is just how much the president-elect intends to follow through on some of the promises he made on the campaign trail around issues that people care a lot about. And as we know, the economy was front and center. And even in this Time Magazine piece that came out today, we see him previewing a little bit that he might not be able to address things like high prices, the cost of living. And if that's so, he might find a situation where governing is a lot different than being a candidate.
All right, so here's the thing, guys. Trump, he did say a lot of pie in the sky things, but hopefully everyone is smart enough to kind of read through what is actually plausible and what is not. Unfortunately, lowering the prices, specifically on like groceries, that's never going to happen, guys. And I honestly hope everyone fully understood that. The goal is for like interest rates and things, and to get people to stop spending on things. If you want to fix the economy, that's how you actually fix the economy. But I understand, you say things and people are attracted to it, so they latch on to it. But there's no fixing these things now. We printed entirely too much money. Okay. The value of the dollar itself is not what it was when he was in office. So there's no way that the prices of certain things can go back down. We have to be fully aware of these things. And a lot of assets also. So whatever the price is now, those prices are basically here to kind of stay, right? And I think that's just a reality. And the more people that are in the United States of America obviously makes it so supply and demand on houses and apartments are also going to do what? Rise. Right? There are more people looking for what a small group has. Right? So there's no real way to lower the prices on certain things, but the only real way to do things is to get people to stop buying things so the interest rate can actually go back down to normalcy. Right? I think that's just kind of how that goes in terms of the economy. But let's continue, guys.
Alexa, do you have a rebuttal to that?
I think that it's not just the folks that voted for President Trump, it's the entire country, and it's also the
No, it's the people that voted for him. The ones who didn't vote for him literally hate him.
world, and everyone seems to have, taken a deep breath and a sigh of relief.
Literally.
And, whether Joe Biden is going to remember his legacy or not, the American people are, and it was all doom
Slight
and
dig.
gloom, and no one had faith that these leaders were going to fix anything. In fact, they broke everything, and President Trump is already fixing things. I mean, Tom Homan is already meeting with Greg Abbott. He's meeting with folks around the country to try to stop the flow of illegal immigrants into this country. You see deals coming to fruition with Canada and Mexico. The president was already at Notre Dame and that reopening. I mean, he is already retaking the
President-elect.
the world stage, because Biden and Kamala have just disappeared more so than they were during their presidency.
Yeah, she's a little too biased for me, guys. Whoever this person is, Alexa Henning, I'd be very cautious with paying much attention to anything that she says. I would fact check everything. I promise you guys. I would fact check every single thing that she says.
I'll move to this. Google is the latest company to spark backlash over a super woke ad. It's a Christmas shopping push, which features a non-binary beauty influencer searching for skincare products using Google.
All right.
So dry. This winter dryness is not it, especially when I have so many holiday looks to pull off. Thankfully, I know just the thing. And it's in stock nearby. Hydrated skin is a gift to everyone. No wrapping needed. Happy holidays to me.
All right, so if that was all of the commercial, I don't really see the issue. I thought it was something crazy, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, listen, alternative lifestyles exist. This person, American, bro, do whatever you want to do with yourself. I don't really care. Doesn't affect me or offend me negatively at all to see that. Obviously I don't need whatever this person is offering. I would just ignore it. I don't really see the big deal about this ad. I thought it was something crazier.
Biologically, he does shave, so that exfoliation should help as well. That's just science. Social media reaction here, just what you might think. One red state writer with Google, what should we do for our Christmas ad? Normals, maybe a family sharing gifts around a tree? Google, sorry, best we can do is a dude prancing around in women's clothing. Now, all of that was opinion that we gathered. Another user writes, another out-of-touch company failing to read the room. One more, why would you purposefully Bud Light yourself?
They did.
We've seen the same thing from Jaguar recently. The company's recent rebrand included a different kind of ad with dancers, but not a single car was in it. So I don't know if they'll be selling many Jaguars. And of course, the notorious...
I mean, an ad without a car company making an ad without any cars in it just screams virtue signaling. Okay. And the same thing with the Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney thing. It just felt like it was virtue signaling. But the Google ad specifically, I didn't really get the vibe like that. It was just an individual that obviously was living an alternative lifestyle, looking for, I don't know, saying that he was dry or something. I don't even know what that means. Am I dry? Maybe. I don't know.
Bud Light botched campaign, that company faced tanking sales and a boycott after its disastrous partnership with a transgender influencer. Google with a statement on its new ad. Here it is. To put it into perspective, this was a single sponsored Instagram post representing a fraction of a % of a much wider Google shopping campaign. Reverse order now. Alexa, it got a lot of attention.
Yeah, it did. It did because there are people who have no ability to see someone who is slightly different than them, and they get offended by the immediate insinuation that they are different individuals. That's what. That's it. This is not even like there are so many other things to be completely to go crazy over. I'm not sure this like 10-second ad was it. You could have just skipped past it, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how you can look at the landscape. And I mean, you said it, Harris, from the New York Times. These American people, they just want to be able to afford gas and groceries and live in safe communities.
Okay.
This just isn't working. This is exactly how Biden and Harris ran their campaigns. They spent 6 figures creating sets for podcast hosts instead of helping people in North Carolina. This is exactly what people do not want. And I don't know how long it's going to take for, Democrats to understand that or companies to understand that either. But, this is not what the American people care about.
Then why did you stop and watch it? Like, I'm telling you right now, if it came in front of me, I would have been like, this is not really a big deal. And I probably wouldn't have even watched it. I would have heard the accent and been like, this is not for me. Okay. I'm just going to be honest here. Okay. But let's continue.
Understand that either. But, this is not what the American people care about.
And keeping it on those politics, Morgan, it is interesting because when you Google, you're supposed to get the facts that come up and those things that help you to go on and do what you need to do in life. And it's even aided by artificial intelligence now. So it's supposed to be even more specific.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even claim to be an expert in corporate advertising. Clearly, Google made a call here that this was in their best interest. But look, I think the more important point is Google has too much power. If all of us want to care a lot less about what Google's doing and what they're spending money on, then we should expect and hope that President-elect Trump's Department of Justice will continue the legacy from his first term and this Biden administration and breaking them up and forcing them to divest some of their current assets so none of us have to worry about what Google's doing.
Interesting.
Okay.
Morgan and Alexa, thank you very much for being with me.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Listen, guys. Any monopoly is a bad monopoly. I think that's just the reality of the situation, guys. I mean, any monopoly is a bad monopoly. So we'll start there and kind of end it there in that instance, right? But that ad was not. I thought listen. The amount of people that sent me this video here, okay. It tells me that I think I don't know, maybe you expected my direct response or you expected me to kind of go melt basically over a 7-second ad of some random person asking if he's dry or not. I don't know. It wasn't really a big deal to me in this instance. And the response that Google basically made after it was saying this was just a tiny fraction of a fraction, basically, right? That this is nothing. This is just a thing. That was done specifically for a subgroup, a niche subgroup. That's it. And kind of like what I stated in the beginning, I think, right? I mean, it's some slight virtue signaling, absolutely, in fact, now that I'm sitting here looking at it. It is, right? Because who would be interested in that ad? Who would be? Specifically, left-leaning individuals, most likely, almost by default, would. And people that are kind of within that subgroup, the niche subgroup, guys. That's it. They're trying to kind of corner the market, let's say, on that niche subgroup. Look at how nice we are, type of thing, right? That's the vibe. But again, it's not. After seeing it, I was thinking, based on the title and the amount of people that have sent it, that it was something absolutely wild. Okay? That wasn't it, bro. There are a lot of things to absolutely lose your mind over. That wasn't one of them, guys. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. This is my lightsaber. Hey, guys. You guys subscribe to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.